All right. Welcome to a night edition. Another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink Night Edition. As you can tell, it's nighttime. I have my porno lights and I have my main light, porno lights and main light. So this is my new studio. I haven't actually done a night film for a while. Anyway, sorry. All right, so look, you probably saw my last episode. I was bitching and moaning about myths being busted, so I wanted to take those myths and rebust them, you know what I mean? Rebust those busted myths. But now I am back to straight and narrow. I am on the wagon of whiskey reviews. Today I am going to review a Pittyvaich 30. This is a special Diageo release. I'm struggling to read it because I have my glasses. It is it's an older release, 2020 release it looks like. It's taken me a while to review this because we only got it around about 2022 and I was away for a while. But you know what? It's waited 30 years in the fucking barrel. It doesn't matter if it waits a little bit more. So here we go. This review is actually more about, this is 50.8. I'm sorry, this is 50.8. And there's 7,020 bottles of this. So you're thinking to yourself, wow, Pittyvaich, ghost distillery, 30 years. But there's 7,000 fucking bottles of these. So is it rare? Yeah, in the scheme of things, it's a little rare. It's a little rarer than a Springbank 12. A Springbank 12's got about 10,000 in a run. So it's a little bit rarer than that. But is it really rare though? I don't know. I mean, I guess 30 years old is rare enough. I guess if it was younger, you probably have a shitload more. But anyway, let's get pouring. Let's scratch and sniffing. And let's get the show in the fucking road. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, sweet, sweet jasmine flowers. Straight away on the nose. There's a smokiness, a sootiness, distinctly smoky, distinctly sooty, like a wood fire smell. Don't know where that's from, but it could be from the sometime in the process. Not sure. Can't tell you. Hot stone, hot metal, mineral. As it breathes, I'm getting a little bit of something. I know this sounds weird. But as I sniff it, it has a medicinal nose to it. And that nose, I will put into a cough syrup. Not just any other cough syrup. Now, I go by taste memory, right? So everything that I tell you from some sort of memory, whether it's obscure or a normal memory, okay? And this one, I'm not sure if anywhere in the world you have a product called geese linctus, okay? I'm not sure. But when you've got a really terrible cough here in New Zealand, you go to the pharmacy with a prescription from a doctor and you get geese linctus in a brown dispensed bottle at the pharmacy. And I believe there is codeine in that cough syrup to help soothe your throat. Anyway, I don't know if it is codeine, but it's a strong cough syrup. Geese linctus. That's what. Some baby talc, some talcum powder. And I'm talking about mineral talc. I mean, that shit that Johnson & Johnson had to recall. The proper talc, not this cornstarchy based shit you get nowadays. I'm talking about that terrible cancer-causing shit. For 30 years old, I am getting a spiritus smell from it. Not a new make spiritus, but just as ethanol, a distinct ethanol. Now, I'd hazard a guess, the spirit and the influence is probably quite weak in this. But nevertheless, it's delicious. All I'm telling you right now, none of it is negative, by the way. It might sound negative, but it's not negative. All right, let's sip the shit out of this. Cheers. Ooh, wow. The palate is very different to the nose. There's a slight swampiness to that taste. Hits me in the back of the nose and palate. Wet leather. Burnt sugar. Burnt toffee. Licorice. Aniseed. Actually, it's quite aniseedy. It's quite aniseedy. I don't know. I would hazard a guess that's a bourbon cask. Definitely the sickly coconut in there. But, you know, it doesn't really say here. And if it does, because of... Oh, it is bourbon cask. Sorry. Yeah, it is. Wait, what is it? Oh, wow. First ever finish in bourbon cask. Weird. So, they're finishing in a bourbon cask? What the fuck? Anyway. Quite a hefty palate. Quite a hefty palate. This is not mucking around. This whiskey is not mucking around. The nose is quite subdued. The nose is sweet. The nose is very friendly. You know, it cozies up to you, touches your leg, you know, it tweaks your nipples a little. But then you get in the room and it pegs you. This is what it is. It's aggressive, surprisingly aggressive for a 30-year-old. Not in the spirit side of things. Actually, the spirituous is gone. Quite tame, quite calm. But the flavor is hefty. The flavor is full. While the mouthfeel, it's not super oily. The mouthfeel is relatively clean. But the flavor is just an explosion. An explosion. Now I'm getting a fake raspberry cordial. That is an interesting and bizarre whiskey. This is what I love about whiskey. It's just like, you know, you got to put your assumptions aside a lot of the cases, right? Like you don't really know what you're going to get. And especially for something as rare as this one, I mean, 7,000 bottles, I guess, is rare-ish for Diageo. That is... I know this sounds funny, but the back of my palate, the back of my nose, it reminds me of going to the pools and smelling that chlorine. How weird is that? It's got like a chlorine kind of fume. No, I can't even explain it. That's an unusual bottling. I mean, wow. I am actually exceptionally pleased and surprised at how ridiculously interesting that is. It's not smooth. It's 30 years old. So if you're buying it and you think it's smooth, well, you're drinking it wrong, right? You know, I don't think it's smooth. I actually think it's relatively challenging for a 30-year-old of a mainstream release by Diageo themselves. That is fucking challenging. That is not something that you can sit down and just have a session with. That will slow you down. You know, that will slow you down. I love it. I love it. It's a yes from me. If you still see it for sale, grab it. There'll be some around because most people don't know what Pittyvaich is. And then, let alone 30 years old, the price is probably half of your left nut, the small one, Ernie, half of Ernie, okay? From now on, all the smaller nuts is called Ernie, okay? All the smaller nuts out there, the smaller she nuts, equal opportunity, the smaller nuts and the she nuts are all called Ernie. And that's actually, that is a fantastic bottle. Wow. Love it. Whew. You know what? I think I might do another. Anyway, until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. Cheers. Wait, let me just record that sound of the cork popping. Okay. Hear that? Boom. Anyway, all right, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. Cheers.